Alright, let's give this a try. It's time to sew, and this is an apron for the 4th of July. It's going to be very easy, like everything else. It takes just a little over a yard, about 1.5 yards of fabric. And if you want to make it reversible like I'm doing, you'll need another 1.5 yards. Okay. I've got it all laid out here, and I've got the measurements laid out for you as well. And as you can see, this part here is the apron. Okay? We have the fabric is folded back here, and this is where all our measurements begin. So from the top, the neck, top here, the bib, to the hem, we measure it at 35.5 inches. Then we're going to measure from the fold coming towards the cut edge of the fabric, or the selvage, and for the top edge, you're going to measure in 5 3/4 inches from the fold to the corner. This is going to be for the neck. We're going to start there, then come all the way back down to the bottom, to the hem, and from the hem, if I can get this open for you, okay. For the hem, we're going to measure from the fold to the corner, to the opposite end. We're going to measure 20 1/2 inches. So from the fold to the outer edge of the apron is 20 1/2 inches. Now, coming upwards from the corner of the apron, the lower corner of the side, to where the ties are going to be connected, we're going to come up 24 inches. Okay? I'm hoping this bit works out for you. Here's the upper corner. This is where the ties are going to be attaching. So from the hem, which is down on this end, all the way up here is 24 inches. Now, this part, for the waist, is going to be a little bit narrower than the hem. So, we're going to measure down from the neck, okay? We need to measure down from the neck to where the ties are, okay? And that comes in at 11.5 inches. So we're going to come down 11.5 inches from the top. Let me get something that shows better. We'll use some tape. So 11.5 inches from the neck edge, come down, okay? And then from this point to where we tie the edge, we want it to be 18 inches. Okay? So from here to here, 18 inches, 11.5 inches down from the neck. When we put the pocket on, we're going to mark for the pocket. The bottom edge of the pocket is going to sit at 22 inches from the neck, from the top. Okay? So at 22 inches, put a pin, mark that. That's going to be the bottom of your pocket. To make this curve, to make the curve for the arm is really pretty simple. We're going, especially if you have a cutting mat, okay? If you don't, that's okay too. We're going to measure down, come straight down from the corner, straight on down, okay? And that's going, let me see if I can put this right side first. All right. Down from the corner, straight down is going to be 11.5 inches. Remember where we had to mark it? Okay. So that's 11.5 inches. I'm putting this here so we have a straight edge. And then coming from the corner, from where the straps will be attached, we come across, straight across. Okay? Now, this measurement is 12 inches. Okay, so from the corner where the sashes get hooked on to this corner here, straight down, is 12 inches. So we want to come in 6 inches from the edge, okay, and mark that. Let's see. I'll mark it with a piece of paper for now. Okay, so come in 6 inches. All right, and we're going to be going up from there. All right, and you want to mark that point. Okay, mark this. This is where you're going to start. You're going to mark your curve, coming with a slow curve to your point here, and then continue on down to your corner. This is a lot easier than it looks. You won't have a problem with it, I promise you. It's not rocket science, and it's not that critical. Okay? So as long as you're in the ballpark, you're doing good. Okay, now, I'm going to be making this one reversible. So I've cut another apron piece the exact same size. Okay? Now, to go from there, from that, we go to the pocket. We're going to need 2 pockets. If we're going to make it reversible, we need 2 pockets, 1 for each side. And we're going to cut the pockets at 10 1/4 inches by 16 inches wide. Also, we need to cut 1 piece for the neck. That's 3 inches by 25 inches. Okay? 3 inches by 25 inches to go on the neck. And then for the ties, we want 2 ties. We obviously need 2 ties. And we're going to cut those at 3 inches by 42 inches each. Okay? So this is all there is at this point. From here on, it's going to be downhill all the way, I guarantee you. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work on the apron, the pockets. We need to come down and make a fold at the top for the pockets, for the pocket hem. So we're going to be coming down. We'll fold it down at 1/2 inch, okay, and then 1 inch. All right. So we'll mark that. We'll press that. We'll sew it. What we're going to do is we're going to sew nice and snug right along this fold right here to make our hem, and just go right across. Scratch that. I should have done the sides first. Sorry. Let's do the sides first. Just fold it over 1/4 inch all the way around, all 3 sides. Press it. Then fold over your 1/4 inch at the top, and then 1 inch. Okay? There you go. Now we press it, and we stitch it. We stitch straight across the hem here. The outside stitching will be done when we lay it onto the apron itself. So same thing here. Fold it over 1/4 inch, press it all around, 1/4 inch hem, and then a 1 inch over for the pocket top, okay, for the pocket facing, and we're going to stitch straight on down, okay, close to the edge. That's the pocket. The next thing we're going to sew is we're going to sew the neck strap, which is also really easy. Okay, take it like this, fold it in half. Okay, we're going to fold it in half. And we're going to sew it. And to make it a little bit easier to turn it, we're going to sew it from one end, across one edge, okay, 1/4 inch seam allowance. At each end, across each edge, sew at 1/4 inch. And then come in and sewing at 1/4 inch, go most of the way, same here, leave a space of about, let's say 5 inches in the middle, so that when it's sewed, we can open it up, flip it over, okay? Flip it right side out. That's the neck. And the straps, you're going to do it pretty much the same way. Well, almost, very similar. You're going to open it up, right sides together, okay? And actually do the same thing. I think it's going to be much easier for you in the long run. Okay, fold it in half, stitch it up one end, stitch up one end, 1/4 inch, come down 1/4 inch, come to the middle. When you get to the middle, leave about 6 inches open. Continue on down and do the rest of it the same way. Do the second strap the exact same way. Okay? Alright, so let's get that part sewed, and then we'll be back and we'll take it up from there. Okay, we're back, and we've got the pockets, both pockets are hemmed, and we've got 1/4 inch ironed all around. Well, almost all around. I forgot to do the bottom, but I'll take care of that. Okay, then we have the straps, the tie strap and the ties. So we've stitched all the way around, leaving a few inches open in the middle. Okay, then you'll want to press it, especially the area where you didn't sew. Press that back 1/4 inch because you'll be needing that when you flip it over. And by pressing the seam open, it'll be easier to turn it right side out, and you won't have something that looks like this squishy snake. See, I didn't press it. I wanted you to see what it's like. Nothing's been pressed, and it's to try and press it now is going to be a bit of a bear, but I'll tackle it, and we'll get it done, and it will look like this one. This is what both the tie and the neck strap will look like when it's sewn. You can't. The opening is hidden on the top stitching. Top stitch very close to the edge. I mean, as close as you can get without going over, and keep it nice and neat. And just go all the way down one end and up the other. Okay? So we do all that, and then we flip them right side out. Use something like a pencil, a pork chop, a chopstick, something that has a blunt end. Don't use your scissor because you can go right through your fabric. At one end, just pick it up and push through until you can put your turner in. Okay, put your stick in there, your stick, your pin, whatever, and just gather it on down, squish it on over. And that's it. It just rides on down until you get to that opening. There it is. At this point, just maneuver it to get those corners pushed out, and then just slide it back over. There's that one. Okay? Now we do the other side, exactly the same thing. And we do this to each piece, each tube, or whatever you want to call it. Okay? We put that in there. We get it going, I hope. Okay, I'm just working on down until it gets to the opening, until it gets to that unstitched area. There it is. Pardon me. And push out those corners, bring it on down. Now see, it looks a little bit better. See? Than the one that wasn't pressed at all. This one wasn't pressed at all. And I've got to figure out, I've got to work with the seam now. Whereas this one here, there's the seam. See how nicely it just lays down? I can finger press it, smooth it out, good to go. Okay? And then the opening for the turn is right there. It's all set. It's pressed. Line up those edges. Just line up those edges and give it a stitch, and you're good to go. This one here is not lined up, it's not ironed. I'm going to have to do it all. Iron first. It'll save you afterwards. Okay, so now I've got a little bit of ironing to do. I need to iron these hems, these bottom pieces. Iron that back, 1/4 inch. Press this, do the top stitching all the way around. And then we'll be ready to start putting things together. Okay, see you back here in a minute. Okay, so we're back. We've got everything stitched now. Everything is stitched. And we're ready to start putting things together. So just to show you, make it easier for you to see where the pocket's going, I'm using the red one. I do have the holiday one sitting here. Remember I had you put a pen to mark the bottom of the pocket? Here it is, right here. So you just set your bottom of your pocket there, set it on, and make sure it's straight across. If you have a pattern on your fabric, it's easy to mark it, to see, to eyeball it for being straight. If you don't, you'll need to, it wouldn't be a bad idea to maintain the crease down the center fold and then match your creases. That's probably the easiest way. Another way would be to measure down from your corners, from the top. Measure it down. And this one here is measuring at 12.5 inch. This one measures 12 3/4 inches there and 12 3/4 inches there. So I know this pocket is straight. Okay? So we've got the pocket on, and we're going to pin it in place so we can stitch it. We're going to be stitching it in around the outside, around the circumference, and also one row right down the middle on that fold. So we want to keep our pin there to mark the center. Okay? Pin this in place. You don't want to have it falling all over the place. You don't want to lose it. Like I just lost my pins. There they are, hiding out. Okay. We'll pin this in place and get that ready to sew. We'll be sewing, as I said, we're going to just sew close to the edge all the way around, starting at the corners, back tack a couple of stitches, then come on down and continue all the way around. After that part is finished, then you'll come down the center, you'll come down the middle, back tack it here, straight line down, and back tack it again at the bottom. That'll keep it secure and give you plenty of pocket space while you're cooking, while you're at that barbecue. Okay? Alright, so that's going to get sewn on. The next thing is going to be to pin the ties in place. Okay? So we'll be pinning them at the corners, at the sides, and we want to come down. We know it's going to be 1/4 inch down because that's our seam allowance. Come down 1/4 inch and line up the tie. Okay? And we'll pin that in place. We're just gonna tack that in place to begin with, because when we sew the apron all together with the back side to it, the reversible side, it will be secure. So we're gonna put the other one here, bring it down 1/4 inch, and tack it in place. Okay. And one of the things I like to do is fold these up a bit, the ties, because they're just going to be getting in the way. So just fold them up a few times and then stick a pin in them. Pin them to the side. Okay? That'll keep them out of your way. You won't have to worry that you may have sewn them into your pocket, which, let me tell you, it can be a headache doing that. That can be a real headache. Okay, so that's all put together. The other remaining thing is the neck. We need to cut this back a little bit because we're going to be using D-rings. You know those aprons you find in the store, right? Well, we're going to put D-rings so that you can have your strap be adjustable. So to that effect, we're going to cut 2 inches off 2 inches off the strap. Don't get nervous now. It's okay. And we just run it through the two D-rings, okay? Like that. And set it up at the neck, a 1/4 inch, at least a 1/4 of an inch from the corner, from the edge, okay? And then we'll be stitching that in place. Everything will become even more secure. We're going to do basic, just a run-through stitch on it, just to hold it in place and get rid of the pins. And when we do put the back side of the apron on, the reversible side, and we sew all the way around, that will secure it even further. So here we go. All right. Okay, quick recap. Pin everything in place. There's your straps. Cut 2 inches off your neck piece so you can attach your D-rings. Pin your straps 1/4 inch from the corners down, one on each side. Make sure your pocket is centered, lining it up with the mark you had put on the fold when you were laying it out. Sew all the way around the outer edge and down the middle. Okay? And we're going to put you on hold, and I'll be back in a few minutes when it's all put together. Okay, we're back. We've got everything all stitched up. Here's the lining, the back side, the reversible side. It has its pocket in place. Here's the front side with our fireworks. Here's the pockets, double pocket. Straps are stitched in place. We've got our D-rings and our neckband, and we're all set for the next step, which is to put them together. Lay them right sides together, okay? Keep your straps pinned and out of the way. Keep all those things out of the way. All right, so we just lay them together, right sides facing. Match up all the edges. Okay. Match up your edges. Make sure everything's tidy. Get the straps out of your way. And we're going to stitch up about 3/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch to 3/8 of an inch from the edge. We want to make sure that when we're sewing our straps that we don't go overboard. Okay, we want to sew just up. We want to sew just up to the strap and not beyond it. Okay. So pin it all together. Right sides facing. Hopefully the front and the back will be the same size. If not, we'll just trim off the one that's not the same size. Not a big deal, okay? We're talking about an apron here. It's not a wedding dress where everything has to be exact. Okay, so you see on this one here, the back side, the red, I managed to cut it a little bit longer than the blue front, so I'll just trim that off. That's not a problem. Okay, so we'll get this all pinned up together, all the way around. Make sure everything gets put in. Make sure everything is tucked away inside. Okay. Get it all in there. And when we sew, we're going to sew the seam so that it comes right up to the strap without going over the strap. All right? We want it to be flush when we're finished. And the other thing is we're going to start to sew in the middle of the bottom. Okay? So at the center of the bottom of the hem, the apron. Okay? We're going to leave part of this open because we need to turn it right side out. So we're going to leave open about 8 inches. That'll be plenty of space. Leave this part open, okay, right in the middle, about 8 inches. So you're going to start at one side, okay? You're going to start sewing here. Remember to back stitch. Go all the way around, all the way around this thing. Keep it going. Make sure everything is tucked inside where out of the way. Come on down the other side, down here, okay? Come back, around, and back here, back where we begin, okay? Back stitch it. And remember how we did the pressing on the straps before we turn them over? Well, we're going to do that again. We're going to give all the seam a nice pressing to set the stitches. That's going to make it easier to reverse it. And when we get to the bottom, to the hem, we'll press this back, the seam allowance, whatever the seam allowance is you're using on the, whatever the seam allowance is you're using, whether it be 3/8 of an inch or a 1/2 inch. Press that back so that when you flip it right side out, you'll have no trouble matching it up. Okay, so break time again. I'll go put this on the machine. You go put yours, and I'll meet you back here in a few minutes. Okay, so we're back. We've got it all sewn together now. Front and back, 2 sides. Now all we need to do is clip the corners. Let's see. All we need to do now is just clip the corners on the diagonal. It'll make them fit better. Okay, so all your corners, do that. Trim off all your threads. Clip your corners. Okay, all set. And then on the curve, we just want to make some snips. Be careful not to cut into your seam. All right, we just want to make some snips so that it will, when we turn it inside out, right side out, and we press it down, we'll have a nice curve. No puckering. All right. There we go. That's it. Just about 1 inch apart. Don't cut into the seam. Do not cut into your stitches, because you'll have to go back to the sewing machine. All right. Okay, that's that. Now go back to the beginning of your hem. Oh, we need to press this first. Before we turn it right side up, we need to pass the iron over it. We want to set the seams. We want to set the stitches so that it'll be easier to lay them flat open afterwards. And also to take care of our little seam opening. Okay? So we're just going to give it a quick press right over your seams, right over the stitching. We want to set that all in motion. Give it all a good press. Only takes a couple of minutes. No problem here. Okay, and remember on the bottom, along the hem, that space that we left open, we want to roll that back, open that seam up, so that it'll be easier to join it afterwards. Okay. You just press it back the amount of the seam allowance. Whatever seam allowance you ended up using, that's how much you're going to press it back. You want it to stay nice and even. There we go. And hopefully if everything worked out right, none of your straps will be caught in the seams. Okay, let's turn it around. Reach inside. Start with the top. Okay, grab those loops. It'll help it. Your D-rings. It'll help to turn it out. And your neck strap. Bring that over. Bring it through. Okay, go back in and grab your corners. Turn them out as you're going. It'll be a lot easier if you turn them now. Now, this one here that we made, that I've measured for, is a size large, because it's for my husband. And he's a little bit bigger than I am. But to adjust it for sizes, to make it, bring it down to your size, a medium or a small, just take off from the top, across the top, and around the underarm, around the curve, take off a 1/2 inch, and along your side seams here, take off 3/4 inch. If you need a small, then do the same thing again. Take off another 3/4 inches, another 1/2 inch at the top and on the curve, and another 3/4 inches along the side. Okay, so we've got this all put together. We can unpin our straps. And now we press. Okay, there we go. And we're gonna press all our seams. And then we're gonna top stitch all the way around on the seams, the same as we did on the straps. Remember that? Remember how we sewed around the straps at the edge? We're going to do the same thing all around. We'll be sewing about 1/4 inch all around, 1/4 inch top stitching all the way around. And that'll also take into, bring in your hem. Stitch it. You know what? Let's stitch it closer to the edge. It'll be easier for you. All right. We'll stitch it closer to the edge first, and then you can do a second row of stitching a little bit further away, quarter inch away. So we'll have 2 rows of top stitching all the way around. Okay. So I'm going to press this and go do the top stitching, and then I'll be back with the finished item. You too now. And we're back. And we're finished with our stitching. And we're finished with our apron. So here's a close-up. Can you see this? All right, now there's your top stitching all across the top. Your ties. Your great pocket. Your 2 nice big pockets. Okay. Everything is hidden. You've got a reversible apron. You have it for the holiday, and you've got it for when it's not a holiday, and you just feel cheerful. So here we go. You're all set. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'm looking forward to seeing how you do on yours. Don't forget, this is an apron. It changes with the fabric. Just because this is the 4th of July doesn't mean you can't use this for Christmas. Change the fabric. Put on another holiday fabric. Put whatever you want. Use the fabric you want. But this is how easy it is. And it's great for gifts. I mean, you can't go wrong giving somebody an apron. Okay? So, send me your comments, your ideas for projects. Let me see what you're doing. I'd love to see your work. I'd love to see how you translate this into your own project. So, I will be posting all the information you need, the materials list as usual, and the directions. And I will try and get. I will try to get you a scan so you can do this part, the curve. Okay, I'll see how I can manage that one. I'm still learning all this processing with the computer, so bear with me, okay? We're both learning together. You're learning to sew, and I'm learning to produce. Okay, folks, thanks for watching. I'm Kathleen Bobbitt. This is Time to Sew, and I'll see you on the next project.